Hello everybody, this is Howard the Teaserking coming to you with week 6 of college football. I've been red hot in college. Last week was unbelievable. I go 8 for 8. I hit my lock of South Florida and Washington. I predicted Washington would win like 52-3, it was 45-7, the same point, but it won by 20. The loser I did have was Air Force, but again, I warned you to take him as a dog, not as the favorite, and the money went on them. So really, I had bet them early when they were the dog, but and I was surprised their defense was so poor. Watching them against Michigan and San Diego State, I thought they wouldn't get blown out by a running team because that's what they do. So, just curious there. So that was my only college loser. But again, once it went favorite, the idea was betting Air Force as the dog there. And it really matters. The teams know if they're favorite or dog, and if they're, once New Mexico knew they were the dog, they played differently. Teams get more upset when they're the dog. They feel disrespected. Anyway, so my locks have been red hot, 6-0 in the last 6 college locks, 10-2 in the last, including the pros. So I've been red hot. Got a really good perspective on college this year. I'm using the stat method a little bit more with the quarterbacks and the weak defenses. Last week was just about all weak defenses. Excuse me, a little tired. But so looking at this week's matchups, it's a little bit harder. The weak defenses are there, but some of the offenses they're playing aren't very strong, and you got to be careful. You can't just play a weak defense. Somebody gives up 35, 40 points. If the offense they're playing can't really take advantage of it, so you got to be careful on that. Like I had South Florida over East Carolina. South Florida can put up a 60. I think they scored a touchdown every possession last week. Where, it's like Army, I think, was playing, I think they were playing UTEP. But they were laying 24, and Army just doesn't score that much, so you couldn't really play Army there, even though UTEP gives up a ton of points. So that's what you're looking for, is going against the weaker teams, and it just is always out there. The weak teams, they get blown out because the strong teams have to play strong teams. So when they get a weak team, they really go for it, and they usually punish them, and then the second team comes out and they keep piling it up. That's what I like about college. Some of the coaches, they just pile it up. I love Washington State last week. I had them big over USC. And really with my new method, it was pretty easy. Washington State's a better offense than SC and a better defense. They give up less points, and USC had a lot of injuries. So when you get a team like that, see there you're really not going against weak. USC is certainly not a weak defense, but Washington State had a very strong defense and was much better. I think they gave up 12 or 13 a game, and USC's in the 20s. So really you're playing the better team overall, plus you're getting points in the game. So really this new method's working out well, and I'm not ready to use it in the pros yet because it's all chaos in the pros, but definitely it's working in college because problem is identifying the teams. I mean, here's Baylor. Now Baylor's terrible. How good's Iowa State? How good's West Virginia? So the numbers bear out. Yeah, they're pretty good. Look at the quarterback. He's pretty good. So now you get a better feel of the teams. All right, well, let's get into the teaser for the week. We got UCF 17 over Cincinnati. Over under of 50. Well, let's look at the numbers here, if I may. UCF is a very strong turnaround in UCF. All of a sudden, they're averaging 46 a game, giving up only 13. This is what I call a really strong team. Very strong offense, very strong on defense. They throw for 264 a game. They run for 249. Unbelievable. So they get 500 yards a game. Here they're playing Cincinnati, who only scores 22 a game, gives up 29. They pass for only 219, and they only run for 100 yards. They only get 300 yards of offense. So their defense, while they give up 30, you would want them to give up 35. Usually is the baseline for me, saying they're a really weak defense. But I think Cincinnati, they got killed by Marshall last week. UCF is just a very strong team, well coached by Scott Frost. Let's look at the numbers. UCF in a teaser. This is my favorite part. UCF in a teaser is 12-3 the last 15 games, and Cincinnati is 10-5 against. As a home dog, Cincinnati is 0-4, 4-0 if you bet against them. UCF really doesn't have much as a road favorite. They're 2-1, but more than that, they're 12-3 straight up in a teaser, and that's what we look for. We look at the quarterback play, and Mackenzie Milton throws for 263 a game, 8 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions. So he doesn't give the ball away. They're not going to turn it over. Cincinnati, Hayden Moore throws for 220, and he's got 9 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. So he's an average quarterback. So what you're looking for is, okay, UCF, what are they going to do? Well, they're not going to give up a lot of points to Cincinnati. When they do get up, is Cincinnati going to come back? Not really, not with that UCF defense, and Cincinnati's offense doesn't scare me. They don't really have a very good quarterback. I mean, he's average. Their defense is average, but UCF, with their balanced attack, running and passing for 500 yards, almost, what was it, 260, 240. That's what you look for. They're going to run and pass. Good luck playing defense against a team like that. I mean, they crushed Memphis last week, which, no, you don't crush Memphis. They beat them by 50 points. I think this is a very easy game here. I think UCF 17 down to 11. All they got to do is win by 2 touchdowns in Cincinnati, which is a lousy home dog. See, like I said, it's all personality. So some teams, they get mad when they're the home dog, and some teams choke when they're the home dog. They go, oh, they're better than us, we're going to lose, and they lose, and they like to lose. Teams that don't like to lose usually are very good very good dogs anyway. That's how I can tell. The way to tell a really good team is how they are as a road favorite. A really good team, yeah, anybody can win as a home favorite, possibly as a home dog. But when you are a road favorite and you're successful, that's when you know you got a good team. New England here, the 49ers with Montana were a great road favorite. The Cowboys with Emmett and Aikman are a great road favorite. So when you got a really good team, you can tell because they're great road favorites. So this situation, UCF should just pound Cincinnati, get up on them, and Cincinnati really doesn't have much to come back with. UCF, they don't turn the ball over a lot. Kid doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. The only way a favorite loses is turnovers, right? They throw a couple of pick sixes or a couple of interceptions or fumbles, and the other team scores, and now they're down 14, 21, nothing on turnovers. That's the only way a good favorite loses. If you don't have turnovers in the game, you don't give them a pick six or some crappy punt return, any stuff like that, the favorite will win 95% of the time. Especially when you got a good quarterback, which UCF has, a good coach, and looks like a strong defense. I don't see Cincinnati doing anything here. Take UCF, lay the 11, keep it under 14. Right now it's at 17, so you should be at 11. It should be, I don't think this line will move until after I do my video, and then everybody sees what I did and jumps on it and stuff like that. So just amazing how the line moves after my videos. Second game, Kent State and Northern Illinois. We're going to the MAC. Howard, why are you going here? Well, it's the same thing. Let's look at this game. So, in the MAC, Northern Illinois scores 26 a game, only gives up 16. They got a really good defense. They won at Nebraska. They played San Diego State really tough, losing a close game there. So they're a quality team. They got Kent State, who only scores 11 a game and gives up 35. This is the perfect storm. They have no defense, no offense. Kent State passes for 77 a game, so you think, well, maybe they have a running quarterback. No, they only run for 164. Northern Illinois has several quarterbacks because they keep getting them hurt. They pass for about 214 and run for about 160, maybe a little bit more. But on Kent State, they're gonna pound them. Let's go inside the numbers. So in the MAC, we got, let's look at Kent State. This game is at Northern Illinois, so Kent State's a road dog. Kent State, as a road dog, is 5-1 against. So if you bet against Kent State the last 6 on the road, and this is 2016 and this year, 2017, they're 5-1. Overall, they're 12-2 against, 86% if you bet against them. Northern Illinois is 2-1 as a home favorite. They haven't been there, but they're 11-3 overall. Like I said, they won at Nebraska and played San Diego State real tough. So now they're going to get Kent State. This is going to be like a party for them. Let's go back to 2015. In 2015, Kent State 6-5 as a road dog. He bet against road dog 8-3, but against Kent State for everything is 20-4. As a dog, you bet against them 17-3 because they're 9-0 as a home dog if you bet against them. So 20-4 bet against Kent State overall. Northern Illinois 19-8 as a overall, 5-3 as a home favorite. But they had a lot of injuries last year. So let me go back to 2014 for Northern Illinois. Here's where I want to use older stats. Here's where the stats, you got to know the stats. Northern Illinois had a lot of injuries, didn't play well. Well, it doesn't help. The year before they're still 5-3. But Kent State, well, I only have stats for 15 and 16 on the MAC. I didn't used to keep them, and then I realized that I probably need to, and so I've done that. Let's look at the quarterback. Well, it's not going to tell us much. Northern Illinois, Daniel Santarina, throws for 214, 6 touches, 4 interceptions. Again, they played Nebraska and San Diego State. So a lot of it is who they play. And then they have Ryan Graham, who throws for 190 as a backup. And then you look at Kent State, George Bolus throws for 77 yards and apparently doesn't run for much. 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Nick Holly is the normal quarterback. He is injured and out. So the regular first-string quarterback's out. So you got a second or third-string quarterback for Kent, which makes it even better. That's what you're looking for, team with a weak defense. Why is that important? You probably want to ask me, or maybe, just, yeah, it sounds good. Well, the reason it's important is they can't stop the other team. So when you get a team like Northern Illinois who's been at Nebraska, San Diego State, they played tough teams. And now they get a chance to play Kent. They want to win. They want to get bowl eligible. They need to win. Northern Illinois went out, laid down. They're going to pound them. They're at home. Kent's on the road. Bad, really strong bet against. And they have no offense. Their quarterback's injured. And their defense is terrible. So Northern Illinois is going to get up. Kent State can't come back because they don't have an offense. And their defense is so bad that Northern Illinois is going to score and score and score. They got a good coach. They got good, they usually have a running quarterback. But in this case, I'm sure he'll run, but Kent State really can't do much to stop him. So this is again, you've got a cheap spread. Northern Illinois is laying 23, so you cut it down to 17. So it's a little bit high, but I think in these games when you're going against the Kent States and the Rices and the San Jose States with a fairly good team like Northern Illinois, then I think you can certainly lay as long as you keep it under 21. If it was a really good, strong offense like Toledo, Toledo puts up 30 points on Miami. They can score. So Toledo would be, at this spread, would be lock city. You couldn't bet enough on Toledo because they're going to score and score and score. But in this case, you look for the shutout for Northern Illinois. Let's say 34-7. Northern Illinois, they win by 28, and you're laying 17 here, and that's conservative. They could even put up in the 40s because they're going to just keep rolling. They'll probably get 2 or 3 turnovers. They got 2 pick sixes on Nebraska, so it wouldn't surprise me none there. So there you go. Northern Illinois, very good team playing a terrible Kent State team. We're betting against Kent State more than we're betting on Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois is good and won at Nebraska. And we're taking UCF, another very strong team, very dominant, both sides of the ball, playing against what I consider a fairly weak Cincinnati team. They don't scare me at home, and it's just a team that I don't see that can do a whole lot against a UCF team who's just dominating. So that's my teaser for the week. I have a huge lot going. Involves a college pro, and I'm going to have another college, and I'll probably have another pro or a mix because I love the pros this week. I'm extremely excited. Let me explain something so everybody understands it, because I'm not sure everybody does. This is a lot like poker. You get dealt pocket aces, so we're talking Texas Hold'em here. So first of all, there's 2 things that happen. You either get pocket aces and pocket kings and ace king, or you get 2-7, 2-9, 2-10, 3-jack, 4-9, offsuit. So you either get hands you can't play, or you get the really good hands. This is some of the weeks. Week 1 in the pros was a bunch of 2-9s. You didn't know what to do with it. Last week was pocket kings and aces in college, and a lot of good pocket pairs in the pros. I ended up going 14-3. This week, the college is probably mid to high pairs, and a couple of good ace king, ace queens, and therefore I could have 3-4 locks easily. And then what you have in the pros, I've already got 1 lock. I'll probably lock another. I've got a lot of very strong hands in the pros. So what's happened sometimes, people buy my picks, and I'll get a week where I got 3-9. I got Jacksonville and Baltimore and Houston, and I don't know what to do with these games, and they're very difficult to pick. So you're getting very weak hands, let's say, but you got to pick something. People are paying for your picks. So I can't just say, I'm not playing anything, there's nothing there. I try to lower the bets and not play as much when I really don't have much. So you got to look at my units. When I start, if I make it a 5-unit play, it's maybe pocket threes or Jack 10 of spades or something. Then the other thing is, even when you have pocket aces, it still loses, right? Just because you got pocket aces, you don't win every hand you have pocket aces with, or every time you have it, right? You do lose with pocket aces. Somebody flops a set on you. Somebody hits a straight or a flush on you. So you got to keep that in mind too. That also happens. I could have pocket aces and make a big lock and go, this is great, and it loses. It's just part of the nature. It can't be that easy where you see a game and it's pocket aces and you bet it and it wins every time. It's not going to happen. But you got to realize that. And I think most of the gamblers understand that shit happens. Teams lay down. Oakland Raiders lay down. Brady throws 5 interceptions once in a blue moon, and you just realize that happens. But the majority of the time, Brady throws 5 touchdown passes. So 9 out of 10, he throws 5 touchdowns at one time. So you got to keep that in mind too when you gamble. I'll hear from customers, oh, I lost this one. I have all my money on this one game, and it lost. And you're like, why? Don't have all your money. Do you put all your money in with pocket aces, and the flop comes, 7, 8, 9 of hearts, and you're going to put all your money in? No, because 7, 8, 9 of hearts can flop, you're kind of careful with it. You kind of see the flop, see what happens. Unless you're like down in a tournament and okay, you're all in with it because you're near the end of the tournament, then I understand that. But in a regular cash game, you got aces, you bet whatever the amount is. If you're playing, let's say you're playing 5-10, maybe you bet $60, $70. You're not putting in 500 on pocket aces until you see the flop going, let's see, did it come 3 hearts? Did it come 7, 8, 9? Did it, what did it come? And so once you see that, it makes sense. So my point is, football betting, you've got to look at the whole picture. You've got to understand pocket aces lose, but sometimes they win. Sometimes you win with pocket sixes or 7, 8 of diamonds, which some of these games I play are good games, but not pocket aces, but I still like them. So you've got to bear with me on that, and just bear with it. Anytime you bet, you've got to be patient, and you've got to understand if you play pocket aces 10 times, you're going to win, let's say, 8 of them. So if you play my locks 10 times, you're going to win 8 of them. So you got to understand you're going to lose 1 or 2, but you look at the whole picture, the whole percentage going. He's betting 90% trends. He's betting against Kent State. And if you just keep that in mind, 90% of the time, that's going to be the winner. 10% you're going to lose. So don't put all on one bet. Here's my whole bankroll on, Ole Miss, and then they lose. I lost Ole Miss. And so you never want to do that because the percentage is so high. I'm 10-2 on my locks. If you just kind of methodically be patient. Okay, we won. Pocket aces won. All right, pocket kings won. Pocket kings won. Oh, wait, we lost with pocket aces. Okay, don't let it kill you. You're going to get them again, and you just kind of build up your stack, build up your bankroll, and you win. And it's because every week there's good games. Every week I can lock games. So you don't want one game to kill you. You don't want one lock to kill you. You want it to just keep going. So that's my point. Just be careful, just be smart, and be patient most of all. Don't put all your money on one game. I don't care if I give you a 20-star lock. If I got a $10,000 bankroll and I give you a 20-star lock, take New England over, Cincinnati, I'm still not betting 10 grand on the game. Even though I love the game, I'm going to bet maybe 2 grand on the game because I'm trying to build the bankroll, and then I keep building and keep increase my bets. But every week there's a very strong game, very strong teams. Once you identify the team, you're fine. And that's really the beauty of me. I can identify talent, and I can identify the team. The team identifies itself to me. It'll all of it, like Central Florida, all of a sudden they're scoring 40 a game, giving up 13. I'm not a Central Florida fan, nor do I dislike them. I'm just looking blank, and then as I see Central Florida all of a sudden playing great, or South Florida who plays great, then all of a sudden once I see that, then I jump on them. But I'm not predetermined to take, I'm going to take Central Florida this year. Or I'm going to bet against Purdue this year. And they get a new coach, all of a sudden they're a pretty good team. You can't do that. And that's the beauty of me. That's why I always win every year. Not every week and not every game. But I mean, over the whole year, I've always won. And I do that because I will just, A, read the skill set of the players and the coaches. And B, I get away. I know how to find the team that I'm going to bet. Who am I going to bet this year? Central Florida. Bet against Kent. Next year, Kent might be good, and it might be Central Michigan I'm betting against. Or it could be Texas State I'm betting against. But it changes every year. The coach changes, the players graduate, and all of a sudden they're crap. So you just keep that in mind, and that's why I'm so successful. It's like I know who, my trend analysis is such that I can see who the good team is and jump on them, and who the bad team is and jump against them. And the stats bear all that out, and the quarterback bears it all out, and that's what you're looking for. And once you see that, that's when you attack. But the real skill is knowing the talent of the players, and knowing the trends, and being flexible to go, whoever's hot I'm taking, whoever's cold I'm taking. And I'm betting against. So the skill is really to know, bet against the weak team, bet on the strong team. I don't think most people do that. I think most people get on their team. I'm going to bet the Miami Dolphins, and I bet them. And I'm going to bet the Pittsburgh Steelers, and every week I bet them. If they're good or bad, if they got injuries or not, when's a good time to bet them, when's a bad time to bet them. I know all that, but most people don't. And that's really the key to it. So that's why I tell you, well, look at Kent State. They're a bet against team. They're a bet against road dog. That's the whole key to it, is knowing they're a bad road dog. Penn State is 19-2 as a home favorite. That's what you're looking for. And then Penn State's at home. We had them last week against Indiana. They were up 28-0 in the first quarter. But they're a strong home favorite. So they play really well at home. So you know when Penn State plays well. This week they're a road favorite to Northwestern. Again, they're laying 14, and I'm not playing them. I didn't play them against Iowa, and they didn't cover. And I'm not playing against Northwestern because Northwestern's a good defensive team. You get in trouble when you got a good team playing a strong defensive team. That's when you get the upset, right? The defensive team shuts them down, gets some turnovers, and the offense tries to control the ball in the game by running it. And that's how you get the upset. So you've got to be careful. That's why I'm going and betting against the weak defenses, because I know I'm going to score 40 points. South Florida puts up 61 last week. That's what you're looking for. I knew South Florida wasn't going to get upset because they're going to score 60 points. And, somewhere up there, 50, 60 points. And the upset's going to happen is like here at Penn State. I almost lost to Iowa. They didn't score. They scored on the last play of the game. This week, Northwestern, they're not going to score a lot because Northwestern's a very talented defense, well coached, pretty good offense, so they'll mix it up, they'll hang in there, and that's what you're looking for. That's why you bet against the weak defense, because they're not going to pull the upset, they're not going to stop you because they give up 35 points, 40 points a game. They can't stop you. So, yeah, the good offense is going to keep going and going and going, and you hope it's balanced with a little run and a little pass. That's what you got. But in the, you run up into a strong defense, and all of a sudden, they could really take you out because you can't move on them no matter how good your offense. Defense always beats offense. So when you got a good team, Penn State, and they go against a good defense like at Iowa, at Northwestern, at Wisconsin, at Michigan, you got to be careful. Now when they're home, it's still going to be tough against a strong defense. You don't want to mess with the strong defense. You want to find a weak defense and let the team just power them and win by 50 those are the games that are much easier to pick than trying to figure out who's going to win a 3-point game. All right, everybody. Always trying to teach. www.teaserking.com. Should be a huge week. Locks are there. College is strong. Pros are very strong. Definitely advise, if you're waiting for me to get hot, I'm hot. 10-2 in the locks, 14-3 last week on my picks. And I had Arkansas State yesterday, so I'm already off and running in college. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Good luck to you. Again, if you have questions, email me. If you want my 5-team teaser or 16 teaser, you want to play with me, just buy the advisory package, $50, and we can play them. Also, for the whole year now, it's half off. It's 50% because we've played about 5 or 6 games, so it's not right to charge you for a full year when it's not a full year. So anybody interested in the whole year, normally $1,500 for all the picks would be $750. If you just want the college or the pro or the locks, they'd be half of what they normally are. So please contact me, email me from the site www.teaserking.com, and we'll hook you up with with the appropriate pricing for what's left in the season. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. Good luck to you.